Imagine if somebody buys the very last headshot booster in the Deadlock shop. You would maybe be a little bit pissed if you needed that for your build, right? That's what we're doing for today's game. If somebody else buys, say, Magic Carpet before you do, the only thing left for you is to longingly watch them in the distance as they play the game you wish you could be playing. That does not block upgrades. For example, if this Calico has Cold Front, someone else in the lobby can still have Arctic Blast. So we got two teams of 6 Eternus players to figure out what they would do if they were only limited to one item per lobby. Let's find out. Eternus, but every single item in the game can only be bought once. If one person in this lobby buys Headshot Booster, not a single other person in this lobby can buy a Headshot Booster. If somebody buys something, you will see it just as that Shiv and that Yamato and that Wraith and that Dynamo have shown it to you. So basically, you know what's being bought on the other side. If you have a component item, so for example, Basic Mag, you can still buy Titanic Mag if you're a different player. You're not blocked from buying component stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much the rules. The last rule, I guess, is that if somebody sells an item, so if you have egg and somebody uses it, somebody else can choose to buy that egg. Pretty simple stuff. We do have Mox and Shiba here. What do you think about this game, Mox?
Very excited to see what happens, see where the priority lies. Both teams got pretty interesting drafts, and I'm just curious to see like who's going to like win the arms race to the most important items in the game. Things like Unstoppable, or you mentioned in the pregame, Disarming Hex could be an amazingly important item in a game like this where you only have access to one of them.
Yeah, no, hearing some of the discussions that the Eternuses were having, the fact that there's only one Disarming Hex, only one counter spell, only one metal skin, really does change the dynamic of a lot of these fights. We see that there's been a heavier concentration of M1s than usual. Usually there's like 1 to 2 M1s with like more util characters, more, not like support, but like tanks or whatever, and we do see that both sides have picked several M1 characters. Alright, we're back. So, I mean, of course, with no counter items, that means you can have a little bit more M1s. Stuff like Lash, for example, is going to be really powerful, because, I mean, you can't all get counter spells for him, right? So we're going to see how these strategies develop. One thing that I'm noticing, though, is that Team Amber has opted for a whole bunch of Tier 2 items instead of buying simple Tier 1s.
Yeah, there's so many important items in the Tier 2 and Tier 3 category. I think these players are going to be looking at which ones they can get as quickly as humanly possible, even like sacking a lot of their early lanes to make sure they have the money to go those items directly. You can see something as important as QSR for Lash. Pretty cornerstone item for that hero gets picked up. Wraith is not going to be very happy about losing out on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is an actually very interesting question, because, I mean, there are some characters that really need specific items to work. Like, for example, McGinnis really likes Intensifying Magazine. Vortex Web is loved by Ivies everywhere. So what happens if only one player in the lobby can get those items? Do you just, like, try to get, like, 800 items so you're a bit stronger in lane? Or do you try to rush?
We're back.
And we are back, so of course there's always going to be crashes in these sort of games. It is to be expected, but things have been sorted. But yeah, we were discussing a little bit during the pause the impact of some items being only findable once, and Healbane probably is one of the most important ones, because it's not just resists, it is not just damage that is limited, it's also anti-heal, and anti-heal matters a very large amount in this game. And we do see that, of course, one of the teams does have access to Venator, which is pretty good anti-heal. That's gonna matter a certain amount.
Yeah, maybe, but they're actually kind of cornering the market on anti-heal, right? Because we saw the Mirage pick it up early. We were on board with the Ram. That confused me, but he did pick up the Heal Bane, so maybe Amber has a little pocket strat hidden where they're gonna corner the market on these. Like, are they gonna be the first ones to get Spirit Burn as well?
Yeah, I mean, I do see that the Rem is already queued Decay. Decay is not a very bad item on Rem. Good support item, so it's gonna work very well for him. But yeah, I mean, that's a very good strategy. You have Venator, you have all the anti-heal items. I mean, that's gonna be really detrimental to characters like Yamato, Dynamo, frankly, most of Team Sapphire.
There's also interesting dynamics where some heroes like just have access to certain items that others don't benefit from, Shiv being one of those. So he's already got Mystic Regen, and when that upgrades to Radiant, I can't imagine many heroes that have been picked that are going to want that item anyways. So you've almost got Shiv here with like a guaranteed item that nobody's going to contest, unless they want to like mind game counter pick it away from him.
I mean, that's a very interesting question. Like, is it worth it? You are making your character worse to make another character slightly worse? I mean, Radiant Region can be used by specific heroes. I guess you could use it as Abrams. I don't think that's what Abrams is going to go for. We see that he is waiting for that 3200. I suspect something like Life Strike is going to be really important. I am so surprised that Healing Right was not available, was available even this deep into the game. That's actually very surprising.
That's very good value, right? Another one, I think it was probably picked up like first item was regen, like basic regen. That's a really strong 800 item. Did catch a nerf recently, but incredibly powerful. I think the healing rate's great value, and you can upgrade it to something like Nova or Heal Beam, and maybe kind of, despite fighting into all of that anti-heal, still have some better options for your team.
Yeah, and we do see that Dispel magic has been picked up by this Abrams. Yeah, it seems like the current strategy is just debuff their heals so much and don't allow them to remove that debuff. I mean, it might be a very interesting one. I do love this meta approach. I mean, because I mean, these heroes are not just like, you know, meant to be played. Oh, play them as well as possible and figure out the build, right? If you have like some sort of team-based strategy in these events, it can matter so much. Just like something that coordinates your macro or your item buys. Compressed cooldown has been bought. That probably is a very desired item. Almost every single spirit hero in the game likes having a little bit of cooldown reduction. So yeah, that's going to be important. But Tesla bullets has been secured by Wraith, and that is definitely a key item.
Similar to Shiv, I'm not really sure much of the Amber side was going to be picking up Tesla bullets in the first place. Like, you could argue that Infernus would use it. There's previous builds in the past where there was a very common build on them, but it looks like it's a pretty free pickup for Wraith here.
Yeah. Yamato goes in, and with a nice swipe manages to eliminate that Lash. And of course, Yamato can be just so strong if you're low health. Rem is missing indeed. Rem has been doing a bunch of boxes, a bunch of ganking, and with that decay, he's going to be very, very strong at helping other teams figure things out. Any sort of 6.4k item can be like such a build-defining thing. Like if you get something like Siphon Bullets, if you get something like Capacitor, it really does change the way that you fight and play the game and what sort of engagements you can take. So if you remove a Boundless Spirit or a Spirit Burn from the game, that can really, really matter. But I mean, like, the question is right now, for me, I'm gonna press tab. How many of these people have, like, abnormal builds? Like, how many of these people are like, I would never see this thing on ladder?
So far, so good. I think the only oddity, and it's not that you wouldn't see it, is just Dynamo. And it looks like he might just be holding on for like first buy refresher or something like that. But Dynamo opting to be the true position 6 here, not kind of clogging the pool with too many item purchases, just had Grit and Golden Goose Egg.
I mean, like, it makes perfect sense to me, right? Refresher is so important. Dynamo has the longest ult cooldown of any hero in the game. So you want to play that twice, because it is certainly the most powerful ult in Deadlock. And I think it's just really important. There are some characters, like Lash, for example, on the enemy team that would love to get that refresher at some point. So denying it pretty early, I don't know, might be an option.
Very good option, especially because you talked about compress cooldown was taken off the board. That's a great like value, you know, tier 2 for Dynamo. Just put it on ult and essentially take off 30% of the cooldown from Black Hole. But for the time being, he's just holding on to a lot of money.
We do see that, in fact, Dynamo is not going for that refresher. He is going for Divine Barrier, trying to be a true support character. I mean, an early Divine Barrier can be so good, especially once the other team realized that Dispel Magic was no longer on the board. I'm going to show the draft right now on the screen just for people who haven't seen the Twitch event. So yeah, I mean, Pocket was immediately banned, which makes perfect sense. And Warpstone is, you know, a very important tool for them. But what I wanted to point out is that Toxic Bullets, Decay, and Healbane have been secured for Team Amber, which means that the only anti-heals left in the game, and correct me if I'm wrong, are 6.4k items.
I'm gonna have to sit here and get back to you. I'm gonna have to think through the entirety of the shop as Telekinesis comes out. Unfortunately, no counter items for Infernus, gets absolutely blown up there. But yeah, I think you're right. I think there's not very many anti-heroes. It's just gonna be Spirit Burn, right? That's the last one that's gonna be left on the board, and that's a tier 4.
Yeah, I mean, there's two more. There's Crippling Headshot and Inhibitor, so both of those are very, very important items. And certainly viable for both teams. I mean, an Inhibitor on Venator is like a very common pick. Somebody in the team eventually has to buy Crippling Headshot, you know, in a game of Eternus 6 Deadlock. And we do have not one, not two, but 5 Eternus 6s in this lobby. The rest are a mix of Eternus 4s, Eternus 2s, Eternus 1s. So an eclectic mix, but still very good players on both sides, and it matters a lot because those are the people usually directing the macro and the pace of the game.
I do wonder if a bit of the item purchase decisions is coming to bite the Hidden King in the foot here, because they didn't really opt to buy a lot of the early 800s, and instead they, you know, held out for tier 2s. It has netted them a comeback earn, which is fairly powerful this early in the game. It doesn't suffer from the kind of cost reduction that the normal earn has, so maybe it's not such a big deal, but so far the Archmother has had some really great lane wins, and I just wanted to touch on one thing. The Doorman's actually pivoting to kind of the classic Kidnap build, which is going to save their team a lot.
Yeah. Kidnap build Doorman is incredibly annoying. Not the most powerful build that Doorman has access to. I think most top-level Doorman have pivoted to a more support-oriented sub, but Kidnap build can be incredibly important if you have no counter spells and no unstops, no reliable ways of negating it. And we do see this Lash is trying to ult here. The Urn is nowhere close to the spot. So this is just a pure fight happening on both sides. And it is going to matter a lot because some stuff like Warden ult can be very, very powerful, even if you don't have all of the characteristic items. I don't know. It is proving to be a bit difficult. We do see that Amber being a little bit down is getting a bunch of deaths here with that Infernus dying, and there's going to be a clean push for the Guardian.
I will say that through all of the Urn iterations, there have been bugs in it. The Urn spawning in weird places and spawning comeback and being on the opposite side of the map has been a long journey of Urn changes in the last 2 weeks.
Oh God, it's so hard to keep track because, you know, we'll do a filming, we'll release a video, and the Urn changes like 24 hours after the game has been filmed. This is being filmed on Saturday, so we'll see when this is gonna get released. Anyhow, we do see massive burger boxing happening here, and that is one Rem getting picked. Rem can be incredibly vulnerable, especially if he doesn't have that tag along. So yeah, important stuff here. But you see that Team Amber has that soul difference fixed, 75k to 76k. And I think this Amber Abrams is gonna escape too. Very well done. And we do see the buy for this Abrams. It is Colossus. I mean, an Abrams with Colossus and Dispel Magic should be very close to unkillable.
He's just becoming a control machine. We very briefly saw his AP order, but max shoulder charge, it looks like he might be going max Infernal Resilience next, so just going to be a massive beefcake in front of his team. Does get kidnapped, though.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, he can probably take like 5 walkers in the face at this point. I do want to see again how much HP he has. He's going to try and 1v1 this Yamato. He does have Colossal, which is going to give him a lot of spirit resist. And with an Infernus there, I think the only solution for that Yamato is to just back off. As we see on the screen right now, Crippling Headshot has been bought. That means 4 out of 6 anti-heal items have been secured by Team Amber. Only 2 left, Inhibitor and Spirit Burn. So both of those are also going to be priorities.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Dispel's gone. You know, it's just like counter spells left. Divine Bear was already taken by Dynamo, so that's one little counteraction. That's a lot of damage. Somehow surviving it anyways. The Knife Bleed does not take... Oh, he gets one more! Shiv, there's no healing booster for this Abrams. It was taken already.
God. I mean, like, this is the talent of these Eternus players. They know their limit of their characters very well. They know that they can push them to the brink. And I mean, if you can get out of a fight with 30 HP, it's basically the same as getting out of a fight with 1000 HP. They're gonna go back to heal. And on the other hand, of course, there are Eternus players who are gonna make sure you do not get out of that fight for free. But we do see a massive push here on lane number 1.
Yeah, gets a really early walker. It's pretty good timing here at 19 minutes. Flex slots starting to become a little bit more of an issue. Ooh, Black Hole gets committed, catches too. This is a nice turn here for Sapphire. A lot of damage here coming out from the Wraith, trying to clean things up. Furnace will go down. Mirage is next in line. The trade, they both go for the soul, or things are favoring the Mirage right now, so Wraith trying to get out of that spot. Ooh, the tick! Benji gets the cleanup and both soul orbs in the end.
Yeah, I mean, like, Again, M1 single brain, sold people just think all they want is the souls. Screw the fight in front of me. I just gotta farm, get that soul advantage. But yeah, I mean, very, very good stuff here. We do see a sold bot greater expansion. Okay, he was just trying to decide whether he wanted to buy that item or not. Greater expansion on Lash can be pretty good. We'll give him a little bit more radius for that ult. We'll give him a little bit more power on those Lash slams. So yeah, pretty good stuff to deny, especially from someone like Dynamo, because denying extra space on the Dynamo, very important.
I do think it's a bit more of a deny purchase than like a necessity. Obviously, Lashes don't typically go greater expansion. They'll opt for more damage items. But in this spot, taking it away from Dynamo is actually super important because that singularity is not that big of an AoE if you take that item away. So Dynamo's going to have to find that elsewhere. Meanwhile, Shiv, though, taking some fights. We saw a bit of the itemization come through. He grabbed the Warp Stone and counter spell. So Shiv is going to be a massive powerhouse in this match.
Yeah. Reb being picked right here, and this Abrams has so much HP. He's gonna be so hard to kill. He's gonna be able to kidnap people, but he gets parried, and then of course the stun comes immediately after. This Abrams is somehow surviving this 1v4, hopefully until Lash comes in. Lash does not have an ult, and that's gonna be a very dire situation, especially against that Dorman who does have cheat death now, so he's gonna be very hard to pin down.
Maybe a little bit of a mistake from Archie on that Abrams. I feel like he could have held on and not gone for the Colossus immediately. The health booster seems like much more of a critical item for Abrams to maintain his tankiness through that Infernal Resilience. So maybe a bit of a misstep rushing to those items. Ooh, Jin's Mark pop. Benji gets another one.
I mean, that Ricochet buy, which is normally something you buy as an M1 player to just speed up your farm as much as possible, is so good on Mirage specifically because being able to apply Jin Smart to an entire enemy team in a fight means that you as an M1 can have actual tangible impact instead of just, you know, being a slightly faster farmer, like if, for example, Warden bought Ricochet. Urn is being delivered, though, by this Dynamo.
I think there's going to be a lot of what Dynamo wants to do this game. Just try to move people to fight inside that singularity, which is coming off cooldown just a couple seconds, but they're going to try to take the fight to them and get that thing knocked off, make their lives a little bit easier. They are able to push it off, but at what cost?
I want to know that this Dynamo has not one, not two, but 3 6400 items, which is such a unique combination of things to see. But Dorman has delivered the urn. It is going to be this new urn that is based on control points. I do really like it a lot. I think it's the best iteration of these past 2 weeks. And of course, with the Dorman still being here and having cheat death, he's going to be able to stay on that urn for a long time.
Gonna use their doorway to find a way out. Singularity does come out. I'm not sure who that did or did not catch, but it looks like things are going the way of the Hidden King right now. Lash ult try to clean things up. Last remaining heroes. Yamato is kind of the last king on the hill, and Amber will get the souls, get all the money, and get all the kills. So things are looking up after a bit of a rocky start for them. I do wonder if Archmother team's going to be considering how they wound up in this position with like no cleanses against all of this anti-heal option. They're gonna try to make it contest, so they respawn in time. We'll see 3 crystals go to the Hidden King, but there's a ton of damage coming out from Wraith. Takes one, oh, not one crystal. Infernus is living, just barely. They're gonna try to telekinesis to finish it off, but the Jin's Mark are stacking up, and Need just trying to finish that one. Massive damage from that proc. Wraith is down. That is the first kill in the contest, and it looks like everybody's just kind of content to kind of move out of this spot. Not a single rejuve wasted. Really nice fight.
Yeah, very well done. We do see that the Wraith has picked up the inhibitor. Is it the sort of item that you really, really want in this position? Maybe, but I strongly suspect it's just to give them an anti-heal option. Inhibitor does have that 35% anti-heal, I think, and that is just such an important item when you don't have access to anything other than Spirit Burn, the last item left in the anti-heal category. I am so curious if this strategy of going for these big 6400 items instead of smaller ones, especially on the anti-heal side, is gonna work.
Yeah, for sure. And the completion of that trifecta as Rem picks up Spirit Burn, as we saw just there. So now there's like, what, no options left on the board? I think they actually cornered the entire market.
Yeah. I mean, 5 out of 6 is insane. This Mirage is going to try and escape here through the teleporter. Nope, he just presses the 4 button, leaves Rem to his own fate. But, I mean, Rem can just escape through the tunnels as long as he's not fighting. So, yeah, pretty good. I mean, Hidden King certainly at the 10k soul lead and those rejuves is going to try and make something happen. It is the earn time, and we do see Eternus has picked it up. Is it going to be defendable here? We do see that the Yamato is chasing, and Yamato does have a light melee, I think, now on her too. So that earn is going to be dropped off, but can you really contest a team like Amber with has, you know, a big soul lead and those rejuves?
No, I mean, they need a prayer of a singularity. So what you're seeing right now is they're trying to just force that earn off and make the carriage difficult, and perhaps even try to find a pick in the meantime. Something around the, you know, the Hidden King side of the map to just make things a little bit more difficult. But once this earn gets to that side, it'll be a free delivery, as we're seeing.
Yeah. A free delivered earn here. There's no contest happening. Instead, Team Sapphire is entirely focused on lane number 2. That Wraith can output so much damage so quickly, but immediately gets picked. Dynamo comes in with a slide of a lifetime, but there is no Wraith to follow it up. The curse is just too powerful, and there's just so many stuns with that knockdown too. Yamato is by herself, and I don't think that Yamato is going to win that 1v4.
I need a slow motion replay on what exactly Wraith got hit by there. Like 2,000 HP gone in a blink from that Venator stun, perhaps maybe even one of his blessed stakes from Iridomini. I'm not sure. Absolutely blown up, and I thought that was a really good contest from the Archmother to try to get an objective and trade for the earn. I think it was the right call. It's just they're a little bit too far behind. Some more of that damage from Venator, going to try to find the kill onto Doorman, but has cheat death very critically, can just back up and reposition.
Cheat death for many months, like a year arguably. One of the worst items in Deadlock, but has finally found a home as a core item in the Doorman skin.
You remember the olden days of Soul Rebirth when every single hero bought it every game? Man, that was a certain time. We have fun like looking at these iterations of the Earn and Deadlock's history, but the old iteration of Soul Rebirth and the old item shop, oh my goodness, those were certainly some times.
Back in my day, there used to be everybody got a rejuve on the team. You only had to punch it once.
Dota All-Stars.
The game is, however, developing towards that fight on that last walker. Surprisingly, the last walker left for Sapphire, which is the team that is 25k down. But again, a walker siege is always going to be difficult, even when you are ahead in souls, especially when there are so many Eternus players on both sides. And of course, the big pick, however, is this Yamato. She's very low health right now, but with the amount of anti-heal available, I don't think she's going to be able to do enough damage to survive that.
This is becoming like a protect the president situation where Mirage has like all of the best items in the game, including things like Echo Shard, which is most certainly on his Tornado, and he's got so many core items that other heroes want. I'm not sure that there's anything that the Archmother is going to be able to do to contest a singular hero. I'm just Dynamo like bought a Phantom Strike just to get in because Warpstone was taken off the board. Like so many of these little micro decisions earlier in the game really impacts the state of where we are right now.
Yeah, we do see that this Doorman has 9,000 souls. I'm so curious what they're going to buy, but it is another fight for mid. Amber is going to go in, and we do see that Team Sapphire is positioning themselves to contest. They do have that Doorman with ult, with Kidnap build, all in position. He doesn't have the items necessary, but he does have, oh no, Vortex Web. That is going to matter so much in this contest.
If it comes off cooldown, really close timing. Oh, he gets cursed. Unfortunate.
Wait, Sapphire got all 3! Oh my god, that's actually a huge contest there! And of course, they're all gonna die very quickly and very efficiently, and we do see that one man has been left behind. It is that Shiv. That Shiv can be so deadly though in those corridors, so maybe he's gonna be able to escape after all, but the amount of knockdowns and Mirage damage, yeah, he's gonna die. But I mean, like, that's as good as it could have gone for Team Sapphire. Being able to get all 3 rejuves, fantastic stuff. Dynamo's going to deliver a rather free earn here with those 35% spirit resist that Team Sapphire is going to get. It is going to be a bit hard to contest. The Mirage is still going to go for it. That Ricochet with damage can be so valuable, but look at how quick the turn-in is when you are behind. So they're just going to regroup here. They know not to take a fight.
Interesting purchases coming out here late in the game. Disarming Hex Wraith is grabbing that. You would imagine that might have been the doorman buy, right? Like he's got all these defensive and helpful items for their team. That would have been a great purchase for the doorman to make, I imagine.
Here's the way that I see it. Venator is a good M1 character, but he's notably one of the best anti-M1 characters in the game. He does have anti-healing in his kit. He does have multiple stuns. He does trap you in place. He does have a good finisher. Like, basically, he is the bane of an M1's existence. And if you can disarming hex him, well, that's going to be a lot less damage output from arguably a very, very dangerous enemy on the opponent's team. And, of course, if you can deny that on the Mirage and Infernus as well, very important stuff. And we do see the Infernus has been picked here. Oh my god,
Woof.
look at the damage.
Woof. Walter on the Shiv in combination with the Wraith. Plenty damage. Ooh, big Phantom Strike. They sending it on the Mirage, who has all those massive items I talked about. He might actually go down. E-Shift is buying time. This could be a massive turnaround, but there is no help. Hey, finally some value on that focus lens. Mirage, the raid boss, down for 90 seconds. Huge find here for the Archmother.
Yeah, Infernus and Mirage are just two important damage characters here. And with only a 15k soul difference left, the Dynamo dying from this Lash. However, I mean, it is a trade. It is back and forth. You are not going to get like picks like that for free in an Eternus game. And the Lash is doing so much work. And suddenly it is only the Doorman left. Of course, with 25k souls down, it starts mattering a lot less. The later the game goes on, the more abilities are active. The soul difference doesn't matter as much. It's only 10% here, and that urn is going to be very efficiently delivered. Is there going to be a contest? It seems like the vendor is approaching here.
They're going to try for it. I'm not 100% sure on this one. Lash does have Death Slam, might have Refresher soon-ish, but regardless, they're trying to make something of it. Mirage was sealed away in that one. Hidden King, pretty decent position on this urn right now. They toss a couple of heroes out of the spot, trying to make that confirm happen, but we're still dueling 99 for both teams as we are just scrapping around the lower side. On the upper side, Mirage with Ricochet is going to feel pretty good in this one. Dodges the telekinesis and slides through that Echo Shard Singularity, trying to finish up some kills, and it does start to work in the way of the Hidden King. 2 kills now down. LOL in the chat from Warden. Unhappy about how things are going right now. Hidden King feeling really tremendous about this urn fight.
Yeah, and with this Infernus coming in, that's going to be the last little bit of damage to make sure that Team Amber manages to get a clean sweep. That is 4 people dead, Dynamo is dead, and Doorman is presumably going to die, right? I don't see him surviving this one, but the Shiv gets a parry of a lifetime. It's not going to be enough to make sure that he gets a pick here. He just have to use his ult for mobility instead of for killing someone. The Doorman is so low. Oh my god, such good plays here. And with 4 people dead, I think Team Amber is allowed to just march towards the enemy base.
W friend right there coming in, parrying, and getting a bit of a prayer, making sure that Doorman escapes. They won't have a contest on that mid, but oh my goodness, actually stayed a little bit too far forward. That afterburn, 3k damage from Infernus, gonna find a kill. So Walter unfortunately falls to Yamero on the Infernus there. Did find a way to get Doorman out, but it cost his own life in the end.
And of course, with that rejuve just being secured, it is going to be a big attack on this enemy base. We do see Infernus already here trying to poke the towers as much as he can. That afterburn can be so valuable in these fights, especially because you can still apply it from a little bit of a distance.
And it's going to be fun to kind of look around at the items that have been purchased, and more importantly, the items that are left available right now. Obviously, everybody's stocking up on tier 4s as much as humanly possible, but the shop's getting a little thin at this point.
I mean, this is a very interesting discussion to have. So normally, in a regular game of Deadlock, right, the more souls you have, the stronger you are. It makes perfect sense. But what happens in this sort of game? Like, are we actually sure that this Venator is much stronger than this Yamato? Maybe this Venator's items are just not optimal at all.
Yeah, could very well be the case. Items are crucially important in this game the later and later it goes. So if your build is not as good as it can be considering the circumstances... Oh, Abrams baited into the doorman doorway. Slides into his own capture. They're going to clean up a freebie here. This is actually a Rejuvenator +1. This is a great find.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to get Silence Wave, presumably immediately the Vortex Webs are going to be strong. And that is a huge pick for Team Sapphire. It is, of course, at the cost of some damage on these shrines. A whole bunch of advantage happening here. The Dynamo does get a massive ult, actually. I think 3 people there. And with the Lash being above, though, he's not going to get caught inside that Quagmire. It is, of course, the Mirage, though, with that Echo Shard that is going to be stunning and stunning and stunning everyone. Lash comes in, grabs 2 picks, and I think that might be it. I think that might not even be just the shrines. I think that might be the game.
Yeah, really patient from Zephyr. We watched him kind of grapple along the top of that fight for about 10 seconds while the Singularity was still channeling, and he just waited and waited and finally decided, you know what, I'm hitting Refresher here. Item that we talked to Enz about, perhaps Dynamo needing a little bit earlier. Zephyr clicks the button, hits the Death Slam, catches 3, and now the base is really starting to fall in shambles, despite the Archmother having a really nice defense up until now.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be the fall of the Patron. And, I mean, there's one more fight left, of course, with no Dynamo, no Refresher in the game. Everyone's going to spawn in soon. It is going to be a 5v3 situation for a bit, though. And there is a lot of damage on Team Amber's side. They could be wrapping it up as soon as they want to. They're not backing out. They're not trying to bait anything. They're just going to go for it. And that Shiv Dang, oh, that's not good.
Tough spot here. We'll have to see. There's no Singularity kind of make things hard. Wraith, I think, is even getting dove behind the Patron right now. Infernus trying to clean things up back there. Their Warden is low as well. Does manage to get the channel off for his ultimate, so he'll have a little bit more tankiness, but goes down anyways. Benij really, really strong on this Mirage, and we are actually doing a pretty decent fight right now. Archmother trying to find a way to hold on. Have not taken away, but the Death Slam will make things really, really difficult here. And now Hidden King just gets a cleanup. Only 2 left for the side of the Archmother, and the base goes down.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you like watching Eternus players fight with weird item restrictions, check out this other game where we made a team of Eternuses with all legendary items fight against a team of Eternuses with all the items in the game. Have any suggestions for how to make these videos better or for new game modes? Comment below. Thank you so much to our Patreons, and have a good day, folks.